Hello, everyone. You are listening to the C Squared podcast with Corey and Curtis, hosted by Ghost Cult Magazine. We are here today with Lisa Mann. She is what many of you really hope to be. She is a full-time musician. This is what she does, and it is the only thing that she does. So she is here to drop some knowledge bombs on everybody, give us some advice, some pointers, some tips. And first, I just want to say thank you for joining us today. We're really happy to have you here.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the invite. I really appreciate it.
And she's also now a fellow Oregonian, which Oregon is the best. Oregon represents. So even though you're not originally from here, I'm claiming you.
Well, I grew up here. I spent my high school years here. So I consider myself a webfoot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. So for people who don't know who you are or who aren't familiar with you or your work, why don't you just give them a brief rundown on, your background, the projects you work on, and what you do?
Well, I was a teenage metalhead and I grew up in mosh pits and, went to a gazillion shows. And I wanted to play bass at an early age. I was just infatuated with the sound of the bass and walked home from school and saved my lunch money and bought my first bass. And when I was 19, I wanted to work professionally. And so I basically became a bar musician and just played in every kind of band. Top 40, I was in an Irish band for a while. We played Irish pubs. I was in a country band, a reggae band, in anything, I would do it. And then I fell into blues music and started a career in blues music here in Portland because this is a big blues town.
It is a big blues town.
Oh, absolutely. Curtis Salgado's from here, Paul DeLay, Lloyd Jones, a lot of big blues names. But I started working as a blues musician and started writing and recording my own music in about 2006, 2008, around there. Started producing full-length CDs independently. Started branching off from there. I built my own database for blues radio and just kind of built up from there. And I've just been kind of hanging around. And, that's kind of my business model is just hang around and don't give up and don't go away. But then I also, I've never lost my love of metal. So I figured, hey, I know how to make a record. So started writing a heavy metal record and self-produced that as well under the name White Crone. So that's kind of it. I just keep hacking away at it.
And what kind of inspired that transition to White Crone? Where was it just, your childhood and teenage love of metal, or was there something else that kind of sparked it?
There really
going from blues to metal. I mean, there's crossover anyway, but
there was a moment. It was because I'm a member of the Recording Academy, and I was voting in the Grammys, and I heard this band I'd heard of, but I never heard them. And it was Ghost, and it's the butt of a lot of jokes. But I heard that song Cerise, and I'd never heard anything like it, and it was just like, ZFG. We don't care. We're going to play what we want to play. And I was like, listen, I remember taking my phone in and my husband, listen to this guy, he's singing like Michael Stipe, but this music sounds like, like a slow Slayer tune or something, And that was it. It just sparked something. I started hearing these melodies in my head. I'd be washing my hair or driving my car. And I just started recording stuff on my phone and gathering stuff. And I started doing some pre-production. And it was all just going to be for me. I was just like, I want to write a record that I would have bought when I was 16 years old. But then when it started coming together, I thought, maybe other people want to hear this too. I don't know. So that's kind of the genesis of that. It just kind of started oozing out of my brain. And I taught myself how to play guitar. I still suck at it, but I can record, and yay for Pro Tools. So Pro Tools can make anybody a brilliant musician.
So Lisa, I got a question. So how long have you actually been doing full-time music, like actual full-time, like where it's
how long?
A long time?
Are you asking me my age, sir?
No, I'm not. I'm asking like
Curtis.
No. I'm asking.
I love embarrassing him. This is great.
No, not
For
what I'm
those
asking.
of you who are just listening and not watching this on YouTube, Curtis is red right now.
I'm not red.
Oh,
That's
you're
my
red.
natural.
Okay, let me
So-
just let me say
Mhm.
we didn't have GPS.
Okay.
So we had to drive to the town and go to the gas station and say, hey, where's the bus sign?
Let me reframe the question without trying to get the age thing, which I wasn't trying to do. I want to point out, Corey, stop it. So anyways, what I was meaning is you have had, like, your entire career has been full-time musician, correct? You haven't had to do a day job or anything in a long time.
In a long time. It's
Okay,
been a long time. I delivered pizzas for a while. I worked at a video store, when there was such a thing as a video store.
Hey, that was one of my first jobs.
Yeah.
Hollywood Video.
Hollywood Video, right on. For me,
Yeah.
it was just a little local shop.
So, okay, so then to follow that up, so you're a full-time musician. So then how do you actually make your income right now during a pandemic? Via streaming sales, or what are you doing?
I have to admit, I've been on PUA, Pandemic Unemployment Insurance.
I don't even know what that is.
They opened up in the United States, they opened up a insurance program for self-employed people. And it's called the PUA. And thank goodness for the PUA, because, especially my husband's a musician. He's a bass player as well. He plays with Sugar Ray Rayford. So I've been able to do some outdoor gigs, just here and there. But he has been completely out of work. He works, so that's really helped a lot. Thank goodness. And I hope other working musicians have taken advantage of that program. But I've also, because I released White Crone just before it hit, but I also released an EP afterward. I released that in September, and Bandcamp was really a godsend. I didn't claim unemployment during that period of time because I did a pre-sale. And what's great about a pre-sale is, on Bandcamp, people can pay whatever they want. Unless you set it to where that's just what you pay. They can pay more, and they did pay more because they know. My previously existing fans, a lot of them got into the White Crone too. So they would buy the White Crone CD, and, they would pay a little extra because they knew we were hurting. They know we musicians are hurting. Totally. So that was good. And I've also got some streaming income. That's true. From CD Baby collects my income from Spotify and all that stuff. So
cool. So what about when it's not during pandemic? You mainly just get income from gigs then?
I get income from gigs, but also, it's a lot easier to sell CDs if you just performed.
Yeah.
I still sell hard copies. I still, blues is an older demographic.
Yeah.
And there's people just want something they can hold on to, they want a souvenir. And it's been like pulling teeth trying to sell CDs. I just did a gig in Boise. I finally did an indoor gig. This place, they have this electrostatic new air system and whatever. I was like, okay, it's a nice hotel. So I just did a gig out there, sold, like 35 CDs that night. So cool. Yeah, you can't do that if you're, Zooming or Facebook.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
So, okay. So probably should get off the sales question. Corey, you want to go with the next one?
Off the sales question. No, actually I did just want to bring up one solid point about Bandcamp, because that's something else that I've noticed too, is that a lot of the fans will pay more. So if you are a band that is hesitant to join Bandcamp for some reason, whether it's, the tracking or however, it's at least good to have it set up as a secondary piece of your sales funnel, even if it's not your primary, because your fans, they will support you any way that they can. So definitely do that. And then let's see here. So sales questions we were on. I completely lost track of where we were because what you were saying. I was like engrossed of where we were.
I set us off track, Corey, is what happened.
You did. You totally did.
Putting it back to you.
And we went to White Crone. And okay,
Yep.
so we are on your collaboration with Vinny and how you got him to collaborate with you, how you approached him, and how did that all come about?
Well, I wrote a blues rock tune for my Hard Times, Bad Decisions CD. That was back in 2016. And it's got this, it's kind of like a work song. It's real slow. And it's like 60 beats per minute or something. And I kept hearing, because I was a huge Dio fan, huge Dio Sabbath fan. And so I kept hearing, and he's like my favorite drummer of all time. And so I kept hearing him in my head. And so there's a drummer around here that I know that could kind of do that. And I thought, well, should I hire somebody who could sound like Vinny, or should I just try to get Vinny? So I cold called him. I Googled him and I cold called him, and I sent him a copy of a song that was kind of similar in style, and said, I've got a track, and I think you've done some guest spots, and would you be willing to do a guest spot on my album? And he said yes. So it's just, I just asked, I worked up the nerve to ask, because it was like, oh, it's very happy. And he said yes. And so he connected me with his manager. He tracked it home. We went back and forth with some edits, and that was it. And so when I had the White Crone project, I was like, well, duh, if I had another song that was like 58 beats per minute, and he could, there's just nobody could do that like him. He's like today's John Bonham. So I asked him again, and he said yes. And I've just asked him again recently for another track, doing a cover song. I'm going to release that in a couple of months. So, that's the thing. You never know. I mean, these guys need work too, man. It's a pandemic. Tony Franklin's on Twitter going, hey, you need a fretless bass player? Because I'm looking for work. So it's just mutually beneficial.
Yeah. And Curtis looks like he has his follow-up face on.
Yeah.
I thought you wanted to ask the question that you had mentioned to me earlier.
Oh, no. Okay. So if he doesn't have a follow-up, I actually have a question that was not on our list of questions, because I didn't realize this about you. But you just said you're a member of the Recording Academy.
Yeah.
And this is something that so many bands do not understand, how to either become a member of the Recording Academy, or how to get their things nominated, how to become somebody who can nominate.
Yeah.
How do you get involved with the Recording Academy? How did you end up there?
Well, when I joined, you could apply yourself, and basically you send them your discography, your all music and all that kind of stuff, and pay a fee. Basically it's for professional musicians, sound engineers, composers, etc. But now you have to get a recommendation from someone. So and members like me were allowed to give 2 recommendations a year. And then you follow up with a secondary recommendation that doesn't have to be from someone in the academy. It can just be another professional, like, an audio engineer that or something. And basically they're looking for people that are positive and want to, get their career going and to help other people. Because, people see the Grammys, they see the show, and they go, it's cheesy. I don't want anything to do with this organization. They don't realize there's a lot more to the organization. There's a lot of professional development. There's seminars. There's even holiday parties where you just schmooze and get to know each other. And there's also music cares that helps people with their healthcare needs, charitable kind of stuff. So it's a really good organization. It's just that whole TV show. It's just the tip. It's the glitzy tip of the iceberg. But I'm trying to encourage metal artists to get involved, because, and here I'm going to get on a rant again.
Yes, rant away. I want to hear it.
Blues music was reduced to basically one roots category for a while, because there weren't enough blues artists submitting their material. And so that's why there's one metal category, and it's for song only, and it's metal performance. And there's no metal album category. And that's because there's not enough metal artists submitting. It's starting to get there, where there are metal artists who are submitting the song, and then they're putting their music in for rock. And so the rock category is just freaking bloated. I mean, it's just impossible to, there's like 1,200 entries. I can't listen to all that stuff. If I can't, it's hard for me to filter through all that stuff and decide who to look at. But I'm just trying to encourage people because, you can make a lot of good connections, the educational opportunities even. And the bottom line is I think metal is a legitimate music form. There's other countries like Indonesia and elsewhere that they, it's just considered a legitimate, well-respected art form. And I think it is. So I'm trying to encourage people, get past that, your reluctance because of that, the corny TV show that happens once a year, because it's a really good organization. And then they'll expand. If we get enough people, they'll expand the categories and they can finally have an album category.
Mm-hmm. And with needing the recommendation, like, how would it, if there's so few people who are in metal, how would a metal artist go about getting or a metal or a professional that works in the metal arena, how would they go about getting that recommendation if there are so few people who focus on the metal genre already in it? Because you need somebody who's in it, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, you do need somebody who's in it, but it doesn't have to necessarily be in that genre.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of, it's kind of who, I've recommended blues artists. I've recommended metal artists. I just recently recommended somebody who's got his own record label and somebody, and we'll see what happens, but it is tough because, I talk about it and there's a lot of members who don't talk about it because you don't want people getting in, hey, vote for me, hey, vote for me.
Yeah.
And vote trading and stuff like that. And they're really careful about that kind of crap going on. So, but I talk about it just so people know, you can talk to me, but also if you just find out who has submitted, if they've submitted, then they're probably a member or they know somebody who's a member.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just ask around, people can ask me, send me a message on Twitter or something. And, you can ask me. I think I'm out of recommendations for the year, but I might know somebody else who can give a recommendation.
That's awesome.
I'm going to go on to the next question unless Corey has a follow-up.
No, go for it.
Okay. By the way, I also want to just add in for anybody who's listening, do not harass Lisa about this, even though she said to send her.
Oh yeah, definitely. Don't do that.
Don't harass me about it.
Do not harass Lisa. Do not harass Lisa incessantly about this subject. Sorry. Just in case anybody gets a weird idea. What was the next question? Yes. Social. Yeah. Yeah, you could have like 100 blocks all from this show. What was I going to say? So social media. Let's talk about social media for a second. Yeah. You do a lot of streaming, it seems like, on your Facebook page, or it seems like there's a lot of streaming, at least to me, because it seems like every week I'm getting a notification that Lisa Mann is going live. So what's the purpose of you actually doing the streaming? Is it just to keep yourself out there, or is it to make money and sales, or what is it?
It's the main thing is to keep myself out there. And of course, the sales will follow. And, people have also just donated money. They've, gifts, sent gifts that are fans that used to come to the shows. And the main thing is, we also, as artists, we have to understand that, all those people that used to come to our shows, they're suffering too. They used to go out to the movies. They used to go to concerts, and now we need to come to them. So if we can provide a little bit of comfort once a week, I've got fans in Germany, Wales, the UK, Greece, and all over the place on the East Coast. And that's why every Tuesday at 2:00 Pacific time, I've been setting up and streaming. And I may or may not continue that. I might just end up doing it like once a month or something. And pretty soon I'll probably bring the band in on it too, because sometimes just even with the guitar player, the two of us can sit down once we're all vaccinated and everything. But it's really just, staying in the public eye, keeping that connection up with fans, And, it's for me too. It's really nice. I really enjoy it, and I enjoy the connection. My husband does the tech side of stuff. So it got us up to speed on the OBS broadcasting, and how you could put, graphics down at the bottom. He plays a music video at the end. We've got a graphic at the beginning. And so it's helped us expand our technical knowledge. So it's just been good on all these different facets that we didn't even anticipate. So
well, when are you guys still not allowed to do shows in Oregon? Is that?
No, we just got shut down even further, especially up where you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm in Marion County, so we're on extreme too.
You are, yeah. And I just had 2 gigs canceled for next week.
I thought you guys
were indoor gigs, but outdoor gigs are okay.
Okay. So
yeah, and I think it's up to 100 people.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Something like that. Yeah.
It depends on the venue. And I play at a place called the Blue Diamond quite often, because a friend of mine, Sunny Hess, she owns the bar, and she set up a huge thing in the back. The city allowed her to take over the street behind the bar, and it's a semi-covered area. It's got one open wall, so it's all really well ventilated. She's got heaters in there for, if people get a little bit of cold, at night, because it's Oregon.
Yeah, it's Oregon.
And so there are some outdoor venues, and that's been a godsend. That's really been a godsend. And I've been able to sell some CDs there too, but usually it's those people, they already have all my CDs.
Yeah.
Don't sell a lot.
So do you have more outdoor gigs that you're going to be playing soon, or is that still?
Do.
Okay.
I do have some outdoor gigs. Yeah.
Okay. So the more that you do the gigs then, so you're not sure if you're going to be doing the once a week after that point, or?
Once things really open up, because who knows how many months it's going to be.
Yeah.
Who knows if these variants catch up to the vaccine, then we're going to get kind of screwed. So I'm like trying to get everybody, just go get the jab, just do it. Is it safe? Come on, it's all out there. It's easy to research, get the vaccine. And I hope we can open up, but you can't plan. I've had several reschedules, like Flagstaff Blues Fest had to reschedule, and then they had to cancel again because you can't plan. And another thing that people don't realize is that these venues, they have to be insured. Yep. And it's hard to get insurance for, it's hard to get sponsorship. It's hard to get insurance when you can't plan. So everything is still pretty much on hold. And that's why I'm going to keep doing my Tuesdays at 2. I'm going to keep doing that.
Okay. Because the next part about social media I wanted to ask you about. Okay. Yeah. So you got a Facebook account. I know you have a Twitter account. You have an Instagram account. Yeah. Which of those do you think seems to work best for you, Lisa Mann, not necessarily White Crone, but you person in charge of all of it, if you know what I mean?
It's my personal page.
Yeah.
Even though I don't just do music on my personal page, I bitch about politics. I post silly shit, jokes, whatever. I give talk about the news of the day. I've got a penchant for being, the raging liberal on Facebook, but I've got a lot of fans and friends that they appreciate my point of view. I've got, even fans that are, conservative and centrist, and they've even said, oh, well, I hadn't thought about things that way, so even though it's all a mixed bag, it's just connecting with people.
Yeah, I agree.
Even if I'm arguing with people, I'm still connecting with people. And I think that's the most important thing. And I know you've said this before. I've heard you, and I really appreciate it. That you say you have to want to talk to people and connect with people.
Yep.
And if you don't, then it's kind of like Rush. Neil Peart, that wasn't his thing.
Yeah.
He just couldn't do it,
Yep.
So
Yeah.
let Getty and Alex do that.
Yeah.
But somebody in the band's got to do that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know, it's not going to work.
As an aside, because you do pretty good like with that, because you do talk politics, you do talk other things. You seem to do it in a way that doesn't cause fights like some people do, which is good.
Yeah.
So do you like when you're I'm not getting into politics, don't worry. Don't worry.
Not your thing.
No, not at all. But okay, so when you're trying to do your posts and stuff like that, do you ever take into account that what you say might start an argument, or do you not care and you're just like, I'm going to be me, and like that's the way to connect with my fans?
I really don't. I guess I don't come at it that way. I come at it as I'm a citizen.
Yeah.
I actually ran for public office, and I was a politician for 4 years. I was a water commissioner.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because I just feel like this is a democracy, and we live in a society, and people are suffering. And maybe how can we solve some problems? I'm kind of wonkish and nerdy about like infrastructure issues and stuff like that, and the role of government. And, you know, I've just, that's part of who I am. And so if, you know, it might get some argument going, but I mean, when America was founded, people were arguing in coffee shops. And it was in the coffee shops that people hammered out the basic ideas of our Constitution and our society. And I think it's okay. We can argue and still be friends.
Yep, I agree.
You know what I mean? And when if people do get nasty about stuff, then I'm like, you know, that's, you know, it's not good. And I try to make a point, not, you know, you don't call people stupid, and
exactly.
You know, it's just not cool. Just talk about the issues. That's fine. People appreciate that. I talk about the music business and stuff like stuff like that too, and that gets people arguing too. But
the worst of some of the music things when people not your page, but I'm just saying in general, when people start about bands and stuff like that can be even worse than anything. Okay, so let's talk for a second here a little bit more about Twitter. So you've been more active on Twitter, it seems like, in the last year-ish, I think.
Yeah.
So how do you utilize Twitter to promote your projects? Can you kind of go over that a bit?
Well, you know, I just, for one thing, I just talk to people and just joke with people, and metal Twitter. I've, you know, discovered metal Twitter and this whole group of people, and some of them are curmudgeonly and some of them are funny. And you know, you just
curmudgeonly, I'm using that word.
Yep.
Curmudgeonly,
I'm using that.
Lovable curmudgeons that are on Twitter. And you know, people from all around the world, and it depends on what time of day you're logging on. So I gotta admit, half the time I'm just screwing around, man. I'm just joking around and screwing around, but then there'll be something that comes up. There's Midnight Fury, who's a radio hostess in the UK, and she's been playing me on the show, and she's also active on Twitter. And so I'll retweet if somebody, you know, puts White Crone on the on their podcast or on their show. I can retweet it. I can just thank people. I mean, really, a lot of what I do on social media, and especially on Facebook, is just say thank you.
That's the way you got to do it.
You say thank you. People say, hey, everybody, check out White Crone's The Poisoner. This is a kick-ass album. And I'll retweet it and I'll say, hey, thank you.
Yeah. That's
you
the
know,
way to do it.
It doesn't cost me anything to say thank you.
It's total free promotion.
And so few people say thank you. That's
almost
the thing.
Yeah.
Almost nobody says thank you for anything.
You know, here's one thing I will say as a small defense of that. If you don't know that somebody has complimented you or has shared you or anything like that, if you don't know it, you can't thank somebody for it.
It's true.
So
that I understand.
Checking. You have to keep checking. I have to remind myself, because I have the two band pages on Facebook, and they've changed their freaking band page. You know, people have been bitching about how they've changed these band pages and made them hard to navigate. So there's been mentions. I didn't even know people mentioned me. You know, But if you do know that somebody has mentioned you or played you on their station, you know, unless you got 1,000 people playing you on their station, then you could say an aggregate, hey, thank you, DJs, you know, for giving me the spin. It doesn't cost you anything but a few minutes.
Exactly. And I do see it with people who are very well aware of certain things that, you know, coverage that they've gotten, articles that have been written about them, things that have been shared, and they just never say thank you.
Yep.
And it just drives me bonkers.
That's weird.
So
it is weird.
I don't get it.
Well, okay, before we go on to the next thing I wanted to address, just hold on here 1 second. So I want to know how you do this, Lisa. How do you find out if someone has mentioned you? I'm hoping you're going to give the answer I'm thinking you're going to say, but let's find out.
Well, I mean, every now and then you can just Google yourself.
Yeah.
Just Googling yourself and put things in quotes. I've become pretty good at Googling stuff by putting groups of 3 things in quotes. But it was really hard for a while on Facebook pages to find out who mentioned you, because you would get this notification that says Rock Rage Radio and 5 others mentioned White Crone. And then you click it. Who are the 5 others? I don't know. I have no fucking idea.
Yep.
So then you have to Google yourself and all that stuff. And so there's some thank yous I know I miss, and that pisses me off. So that was hard. But now they've changed it. I think it's on your desktop.
Yep.
You can actually find that says mentions.
Yep.
And you can click mentions now.
Yep.
And now it switches you to your profile, and you act as your Facebook profile as if that's you now, your page. Yep. You're not looking at it from the outside. And then you click Messenger, and you will get messages that went directly to your page. So they've changed everything. It's just, it's really
It's buggy as crap. I noticed that half the time, like,
it's buggy.
I manage a few band pages, and I'll get the so-and-so mentioned you, and I go and I click on it, and then it takes me to that this content is not available page where it won't let me see any of the mentions.
Doesn't let you see anything.
Yeah.
So infuriating.
But Twitter, you don't have to do that. You can just type your name in and boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easiest thing to do. Okay, so last thing, since we don't have much time left here, Lisa, I got a question. So how did you go about promoting the White Crone release? Can you kind of go over a little bit about what you did with that?
Well, it was rough. I have an existing blues audience, and there's a lot of overlap. There's a lot of metalheads that like blues too. I mean, I've got a Slayer bag that I bought at a Slayer concert, and I'll take it to my blues gigs. I'll have my shoes in there, and people go, "Oh yeah, Slayer," you know. And so a lot of those people, they came to my CD release in February in Portland, in person, and outsold Ozzy. That was pretty cool because Ozzy released the same day.
Nice.
So that was pretty cool. So I was able to take advantage of my existing audience, but breaking out into another audience was possible. I actually knocked on the doors of a few PR agencies, and I guess I'm spoiled. I've been in the blues industry, and you say, well, I got a new record. I need to hire somebody who wants to take my money and promote this album. But they were just like, well, who are you? We don't know who you are. So it was hard. And I found a few smaller PR people. Noob Heavy was the first to do that. Also, Zach Moonshine, he's just got an e-blast, and he just sent an email list and got it to a lot of smaller bloggers and just kind of like traditional metal specific websites and stuff, and got a lot of really good reviews. I mean, really good reviews. And cool. I was just blown away. And so it's like underground. It's like the underground of the underground metal.
Yeah.
That's because it was like, who is this person?
Yeah,
I don't know who the hell. I have no track record in metal. So
you seemed like you got, maybe I'm mistaken in this, but it seemed like you got a lot of traction due to just being on social media.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. Absolutely.
got the most of it, because you seem to get I don't know, you seem to get in everyone's face. I don't know, like not in a bad way, but I don't know, you seem to be there. You know what I mean?
That's it. You just have to show up at the party, man.
Yeah.
You just have to show up at the party.
Yep.
And say hello. And here it is. And
Yep.
the closed mouth don't get fed.
That's true.
I'm getting that on a shirt. Dang it! I like this one too. Curmudgeonly and that saying. I'm stealing both of those.
Closed mouth don't get fed.
That's awesome. What else do we want to ask Lisa, Corey? I've gone through my questions pretty much, I think.
I went through, I got what I needed or what I wanted to know. Definitely. I think that the Grammys thing is going to be super helpful for people. Well, just the Recording Academy in general, because it's there's so much mystery around all of it, but you've given a lot of good points. And social media, especially, like that's, people really need to get on that, even though I know it's difficult, it's tedious, but I mean, just try to have fun with it. You seem like you have a lot of fun with it. So make it a fun thing.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
enjoy yourself.
Lisa, what do you want to promote of yours, since you got like a bunch of different things? What do you want to plug for yourself before we end off?
Well, of course, it's The Poisoner.
Poisoner.
The album. And it's been out for over a year, but not everybody's heard it. And that's another thing that I want to get across to people. You think, oh, I've promoted this, or I've used this picture too often, or whatever. And it's like, no, there's still people that are on my personal Facebook page and go, I didn't know you wrote a metal album. And I'm like, really?
That's awesome.
So you just keep doing it. It feels weird to me. It does feel weird to me. But I mean, I'm an independent artist. I don't have somebody else doing this for me. So you have to get past that weird feeling to self-promote,
And every time you post, only a small portion of your audience will see each post. So it is perfectly okay to cycle through content that you've posted before, because you're going to reach a whole new subset of your very own audience.
Yep.
That's absolutely right.
So one more thing before we wrap up, actually, I have a question about, because you don't do vinyl or tape, but you just do CD. Was there a conscious reason behind that, or is that just a cost reason?
The cost reason is one thing. I know in Europe, especially, albums are really popular, but then you have to get them there. And so the cost of even getting them there. And the main reason this is not on vinyl, it's too long.
Oh, yeah, it's 12 songs. I'm looking at the page right now. It is 12 songs.
You only can get 20 minutes per side.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking the next one will be a shorter album. And
just do a double vinyl with an etched D side. There you go. Have an A side, B side, C side, and then an etched D.
Talk about crowdfunding, man. Woo!
Corey,
I would buy that.
$10,000 just to pay for.
I would
like that
be
Wu-Tang.
your first backer if you did that.
All right.
She's funding you, Lisa. Okay, so you just want people to buy The Poisoner, and where should they be following you?
And please follow me. You can follow me on Facebook. There's Lisa Mann Blues is my band page. And White Crone, CRONE, that's the White Crone band page. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I need to use my Instagram more. I know, Curtis.
Well,
I always hear you buzzing in my ear. Use your social media. Do it.
You're doing okay without it. I mean, like, you're okay without it.
But follow me on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. I need to get some more videos going there. But, I'm also, looking for more subscribers on YouTube. And so that I think it's Lisa Mann Music. Lisa Mann Blues. I just Google me. I'm easy to find.
You are very easy to find. And I just double checked Instagram, because I was like, you use Instagram. I'm like, yeah, you have been using it.
I do, but I don't, I probably could use it. I could probably do more.
You probably could. Everybody probably could.
Yeah.
Everybody probably could. Okay, Lisa, we're going to wrap up then. And our final words are going to be, party on, Corey.
Party on, Curtis. Party on, Lisa.
Party on, Curtis and Corey.